What's up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka who keep leaving these plastic plates turned over in this trash can. Real ones know what that means. Oh man. AKA the Kormaki Tiger Dropper. AKA put a fruit roll up in your cup and put some sugar on it. Call that diabetes. Boy, where do we go from there? Where do we go from there? AKA damn it, the nigga little bastard. Bringing you yet another episode of Switcher Sites, episode 166. Early episode today, since I have had the day off, so maximize my time. Also gonna see Black Panther later tonight, so I'm like, let me get all this in motion before it don't go in motion. Pretty much. Damn. Yeah, man. Today's date is November 10th, 2022. Just shy at 11:11, but just didn't line up right, unfortunately. A little bit of minuscule housekeeping. I think we'll be taking a little break next. So I think we won't have an episode because it technically next episode will fall on Thanksgiving, I believe. So more than likely, the next episode will be December 8th. And I think that'll be right around the day of the Game Awards. So potentially right after, I don't know, the Game Awards might run late. So I might push it back to the 9th just to talk about the Game Awards, since that'll be a big topic, as well as I think going over my personal picks of the game of the year. And I think we might go into, yeah, we might chill a bit for the rest of the year, I think, and probably come back actually maybe the 29th. Yeah, so we'll have an episode on December 8th and then one on the 29th. I'm thinking maybe the 5th. I don't know. I'll let you guys know either way. But yeah, so just be aware this will be the last episode of the month as of now, unless, I don't know, something crazy happens or whatever, which I doubt it would, since everything's winding down. Everybody's switching to vacation mode, so I don't see anything crazy happening other than the Game Awards, which is why I'm gonna at least plan to have an episode either day of or after, I'm guessing. So but yeah, nonetheless, there's that. And I guess while we're at it, let's get into the real world real quick. One of the more problematic issues that has recently happened, I think, since last we spoke, is Twitter and the whole Elon Musk just horribleness, whatever you want to call it, just mess, just mess that's on fire, that's gonna burn up and destroy everything, it seems like. But nonetheless, it seems like Twitter is very much at risk of being no more, being what the ways of what Vine, I can't think of any other recently deceased platforms, but nonetheless, so that's definitely a platform I've been on the most in terms of social media specifically, but it seems like it potentially. I mean, I'm gonna be on that ship until it sinks, pretty much. But it seems like it's not looking very good. You know, Elon Musk is musking it. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. By musking, I mean very poor management in a lot of facets. Being irrational, not knowing the platform that he's bought and paid like some billions and being in that debt. So yeah, it's not looking very good. You know, he's scaring he's scaring the employees. You know, they talk about scaring the hoes. He's scaring the employees. That's what he's doing. My God, just the craziness that has been transpired. So at least that was my main platform in terms of spreading the word in regards to knowing the status of the show and live updates. So just know that may not be no more the next time we speak. We'll see. Who knows? But just in case, just letting that be known. You can find me. I'll at least still be on Twitch, YouTube. I don't really like my Instagram, so I don't really necessarily post that much, but I technically am there. I just don't feel confident, you know, posting that because I'm not necessarily on there like that. But nonetheless, that is an avenue. But we'll see. Maybe a new platform that is enticing that might actually, you know, usurp Twitter may come, but we'll see. I don't know. When it comes to Twitter, I just like just the overall, I don't know, news kind of vibe to it. Also, it very much attends to my wants and desire. I'm, you know, a big part of gaming Twitter, big part of black Twitter, and all of the very random stuff in between. But yeah, it's not looking good, at least so currently. It just each and every week it's been like, oh man, worse and worse news. And of course the popular controversy that the billionaire is asking us to pay $8 if to get verified, or potentially, I think that was a thing of discussion that you would need to pay to actually use the platform, and that's definitely where I see myself headed out if that is the case. So we'll see, but my goodness, not looking great at all. It is not looking good. I'll just say that, not looking good. Yeah, so for what that's worth. Of course, elections happen as well. Hopefully everybody voted. Get your votes in, you know, hey, let the voice be heard. Other than that, that's pretty much it, really. At least news wise, only one topic specifically, but we do have a lot of interesting games to talk about that I have played since last we spoke. So there is that. But yeah, so you know what? Without further ado, let's stop the dilly-dallying and get right into it. First topic of discussion. PSVR2. PSVR2 launched, is announced to be launching February 22nd, 2023. Pre-orders start November 15th. Yeah, that price point. Oh boy. Well, I know there was a lot of discussion, like in terms of like the price point specifically. Like it definitely can't be higher than the console itself, which I guess technically that is true, more or less. I guess, you know, if we're talking about bundled consoles that tend to be that price specifically, but at least personally speaking on it, it just at least let's talk about what comes with this purchase anyway. So you get the PSVR2 headset, of course, that It has a 4K resolution for each eye. Trying to find that specifically, 4000 by 2040, 2040 HDR video format. So that's some high fidelity. I think it's 60 to 120 hertz, or as in frames per second. Yeah, 90 to 120 hertz in terms of the refresh rate. So definitely essential there. You got 110 degree field of view. You get the two controllers. You would have to, if you want to charge it, you have to get a charging station. I mean, I think it'll come with a cable to charge them separately, I believe. I'm guessing USB Type C or something like that. Yeah, the VR Sense controller specifications. Yeah, USB Type C ports, built-in lithium ion rechargeable battery. So you got all that, and doesn't need a camera, so you are good on that respect. And then I believe the cable just plugs into the front of the PS5. I guess maybe no, because I think the front port is the only one that has USB-C specifically. So you at least got all those avenues covered there. So I mean, for what you're getting, it is, I think it's fair, considering, you know, the technology and whatnot, and especially compared to the PSVR1, you had to buy the camera separately, as well as the controllers, the touch controllers, I think they're called. So you technically had to get those separately if you didn't already have them from, like, I guess the PS camera days back on the PS3. That's still crazy, but so you got that. Just for me personally, it's a lot of issues I have with this. Probably the biggest one, I think I've talked about it before. I was on the soapbox, but I'm gonna get back on it. The lack of backwards compatibility, I think, is a huge issue for this device, because I mean that's the biggest deal breaker for me personally, because the fact that you cannot play your existing library of PSVR1 games. If you even, on top of that, if you even invested in getting a VR1, you can't even do that. You would literally have to have both, which is a very tough ask in of itself. So, but to give PlayStation a little bit of credit, or at least the developers for that matter, I think a few games actually do support cross-buy, which basically, if you had the PS1 version of said PSVR game and they brought it to PSVR2, which I know that's part of the issue of converting the PSVR1 to PSVR2, since it uses a lot of different mechanics in terms of how it tracks and whatnot, that is free, and it has the cross-buy program, which basically lets you get the all of the versions of said software. But I think only like one or two games have that currently at the moment. So if a lot more tag along, like, we get Resident Evil 7 and they do the same like cross-buy thing with it or something like that, then that will make things a lot more enticing. But at least I think, like, off the bat, like right at the jump, even the games that are supposed to be coming out alongside with it, in my opinion, aren't really that enticing, in of itself. So I think it's only like maybe six to seven-ish games, and that's I don't know, that just, at least a lot of the games didn't speak to me. I think we still don't know. I think Resident Evil Village is still yet to come out after this drops too. So that is a tough proposition, I would say. But who knows? Maybe out in the wild may find some interesting things to do with it or whatever. But yeah, at least for me, it's a hard no. It's a hard no. And trust me, hey, I consider myself to be a video game enthusiast, and hey, I'm tempted by some things, but no, it's always, it seems to be VR is always the where I cut the line. It could be a lot of other stuff, but if it's VR, it's just, I'm very still apprehensive about it, with the exception of the Oculus Quest 2, because they got me at the heartstrings, with Resident Evil 4 VR. I'm like, you got me now. Now I gotta get one. So, which was, to its credit as well, was a very fun experience, and I feel very, very happy with the purchase then at the time. So, but yeah, so we'll see. I think maybe after it's released and been in the wild, and they hopefully the developers of these previous PS1, PSVR1 games, bring those over, doing the cross-buy thing where at least there's no fee you have to pay, then I think that would definitely incentivize a lot more people to jump on the PSVR2 train, if you will. So, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Fair price for what it is. It is impressive technology, considering everything. So can't complain too much, but yeah, I don't know. But there you are. And you know what? That concludes all the news we have for this week. Pretty slow, like I said, because of the holidays, but we still got some interesting stuff to talk about. So let's get in what I've been playing in that respect. Modern Warfare 2. So multiplayer finally came out. I think I'm not sure. I have a hard time remembering because it feels like so long ago between the episodes now, if I did touch on the campaign or not. But anyway, the campaign was really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Probably one of the best in the series. I think I did talk about it, but either way. So now, since then, the multiplayer has dropped, and I recently reached the max rank for at least the preseason or season 0 before season 1 drops. I think November 15th. That's when Warzone and I think DMZ is coming later, but at least Warzone 2 drops, as well as like some of the typical season content like weapons and things like that. So, but have to say, I guess after playing the beta and now playing the full game, I enjoy Modern Warfare 2. I'm not quite sure if I enjoy it as much as Modern Warfare 1. At least at first, at least getting a full feel for all the maps and stuff. I'm not sure if I really like the whatchamacallit. I'm not sure if I really fully like all the maps. Like I did in Call of Duty 1. Modern Warfare 2019. Obviously the biggest one I'm not a fan of necessarily. I've warmed up a little bit since playing it more, but still I'm not a huge fan of, is Santa Maria Highway. Let me look that up. Forgot which one it was. Santa something. Santa Marana Highway, Santa Covina Highway, Santa Bobanta Highway. Let me stop. What is it? Santa Sena Border Crossing. Yeah, throw that map away. So my biggest issue with this map specifically, and like a lot of people have shown it, the issues they have with it on Twitter and whatnot, but on like when you literally on this map, it's basically pretty much a one shot, like straight, like one-sided map, I guess, in terms of like there's only like one direction generally. There's a little bit of flexibility on the sides, kind of, but it still feels like very confined and not reasonable of a map in terms of when you consider it a standard 6v6 just Call of Duty multiplayer map, where there's a lot more variation in space, which I think is another issue. And then on top of that, literally when you go like it's literally like a highway, but with a lot of cars like blockaded in between and amongst. Then the issue you also have is that like there's a lot of cars, and you know, based on Call of Duty, cars are explosive on this map. So, or pretty much any property of a car on any of the maps, they have an explosive property to it. So you get pretty much a very restricted space, and then you have all of these cars dispersed in between this map, this confined street, or you know, highway, if you will, and then they can explode. That's gonna be just set up to be like a very horrible time, in my opinion. So, and like I said, like on Twitter, that's definitely been exposed very much so. I mean, some people enjoy it, I guess. I have flexibility for it, because I think this is I believe this is a more cut off section of like a ground war map, which are much bigger in scale, and more than likely presumably on like the Warzone 2 map when that comes out. That like that in that context is okay, but like in terms of a standard Call of Duty classic like 6v6 map is horrible. I think I'm like, that's one I'm flat out like not really a fan of. I can tolerate it, but I still would prefer not to have it. So hopefully Infinity Ward listens to like community feedback and like dials back the at least the percentage odds of getting in this map. At least that would be, I think that would help a lot. But outside of that, all the other maps I pretty much I dig and appreciate. I think the one map from the beta, Valduras Museum, I think maybe had some issues, so I have yet to see that at all. Outside of that, I've seen some of the other ones, but yeah. Outside of that, I'm really a big fan of Farm 18. I just love the vibe and feel. Embassy, I think, is a pretty good map. I dug El Asilo. I kind of like Greenberg Hotel is pretty cool. So yeah, pretty much a lot of the other maps I think I pretty much dig and I'm used to and like comfortable at this point. But those are definitely like my standout ones. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think my sentiment still stands from the issue I had with previously with what was it? The beta, in regards to the perk system, where you get like a ultimate or you get two time based perks like that you only unlock towards the end of the map based on your performance. Like if you're performing very well, those get expedited, but I just still would just prefer them to change it to a standard perk type system. But it seems like they're stuck in their ways, but we'll see how things, you know, go further into seasons and stuff. But just not digging the timed perk system. I just don't like it. I'd rather have a specialist back where, you know, you can either choose to have kill streaks or specialist perks and things like that, rather than doing this weird contrived thing to try to mix up Call of Duty and kind of, you know, make sliced bread again or whatever. It just doesn't feel right, in my opinion. But it's tolerable at least. But I think that definitely is a little bit of a detracting factor from the game. That's probably the only thing I am not a fan of. I feel like, but I can tolerate it. It's not, doesn't necessarily totally kill the experience for me, but it still is. I don't know. I would have preferred them not to, and maybe it seems like something they might be able to remove if they really wanted to, which hopefully from fan feedback they might, but I don't know, considering the environment with Call of Duty nowadays, it seems like a lot of it has shifted from the standard standard multiplayer, like team deathmatch, domination, etc., to more so Warzone now. And this, especially since that's coming out November 15th with season 1, I think that's going to kill a lot of the focus that at least was on 6v6, but now is going to probably be more focused on Warzone, since that's a good healthy amount of people are going to be involved with, especially that it'll be free to play, compared to like having to pay for the standard multiplayer. But we'll see. I don't know. But another issue is like, there's a lot of various issues, a lot of weirdly missing stuff, like no progression in regards to like standard challenges that you can like work for throughout the season, which I guess that's supposedly going to come with season 1. But even like general standard challenges that you can get before seasons or in between seasons or within seasons, just that's weird that they missed that, and you don't really have ways to like unlock certain badges and stuff that you would get. Now I'm curious if you've done certain requirements or things like up to like when season 1 comes out, like do you retroactively get a lot of that stuff, which I hope so, because that's why I've also been kind of hesitant to still play after reaching the max rank you can. That I'm curious, like if you can even earn certain things still, or are you like have to do, like, let's say you like got 50 long shot headshot kills or whatever, and I did that like in this like season 0 period, will I retroactively get that like come season 1, or like how does that work? So we'll see. I don't know. It's a lot of weirdly missing stuff, like double XP, like when you use a double XP token, they don't show you the timer like they would in all the previous Modern Warfares. It's just like you have to hope it's going on, and then you're not sure if it's still going on. Like, okay, is it done so I can pop another one, or you know what I mean? So that's a little odd. A lot of miscellaneous odd stuff that's missing that'll hopefully be smoothed out when season 1 drops. But I guess we'll see. I did hear further cemented rumors about Modern Warfare 2 in regards to that. That's that whole rumored season or next year 2 Modern Warfare 2 content, where like literally all the classic Modern Warfare 2 maps will be dropped, as well as I presume a lot of weapons and some single player content as like a full package, as if it's a new game. So that's going to be interesting, but we'll see. Overall, the base is there. I think the tried and true arcadey shooter gameplay is still there, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it's Modern Warfare 2019 caliber for me yet, but we'll see. Time will tell. Yeah, maybe after some patchwork, especially I plan to come back when season 1 drops, and get a feel and see how things have changed. And if that's the case, then it might be Modern Warfare 2019 all over again. But yeah, overall I'm digging a new invasion mode. I think that's kind of like, it feels like a Titanfall-esque mode where you have a lot of AI mixed in with real players, and you kind of get that weird kind of mixed experience, which I think it's definitely a climate for that like you can kind of feel like you're still being involved and making progress in the game, rather than it being solely based on if you kill a real player or not. So I'm digging that. Played a little bit of the Ground War, not too much. Messed with the 3rd player mode, which is pretty cool. I like the change they made from the beta, where you can actually stay zoomed in with your weapon with a crosshair rather than going to the iron sights, which is pretty dope. But overall, I mean, it's a pretty good package. I just yeah, I guess my biggest gripes is mainly that perk system. I just wish it was better. But outside of that, of course, I forgot my other gripe was the weaponsmith mod, where you, at least in 2019, I think it didn't come out the bat, of course, but I know you shortly was able to save your gunsmith weapon customization, so you don't have to like spend like 2 minutes trying to customize the gun the way you had it before, or you remembered, when you could just save it and just pop it into a class and kind of go from there. So hopefully that comes soon, and hopefully with season 1 that would help a lot. But yeah, outside of that, pretty satisfied, I'd say. Footsteps sounds loud as hell. People be camping still. I mean, but it's Call of Duty, so what can you expect? Yeah, it's Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty. I'm a sucker, so I'm a slightly biased, but I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Vanguard. I played it a decent amount, but not. I don't know. I feel like any litmus test for the quality of a Call of Duty game for me is if I prestige and I prestige again, which is kind of weird in the current climate of Call of Duty, but pretty much if I decide to prestige, but I don't think you can even do that technically in terms of like the full prestige experience, which is to basically lose all of your unlocks and then re-unlock all of them again for the sake of bragging rights, having an emblem with an extra skull on it. Pretty much. But I digress. Modern Warfare 2, what are you gonna do? Modern Warfare 2, what are you gonna do? Moving on. Bayonetta 3. After Modern Warfare 2, got around to playing Bayonetta 3, and boy, got some. So I will say, at least the gameplay is very fun. Of course, the tried and true Bayonetta gameplay is there in full effect. And I guess some spoilers for Bayonetta 3, because we're going to get into it, actually, because I mean, it's been out a little bit. So yeah, so really like the gameplay. Was pretty fun. Kind of embarrassing note was that I literally played the whole game forgetting about the skills system, where it's kind of like Devil May Cry in a way, where you can get different properties for the weapons you get. So like, if you do a back forward R1 square, or I guess would it be Y for Nintendo? It is. This is a side rant. Nintendo, please, Nintendo or Microsoft, one of y'all make up your damn. Actually, Nintendo, because like I see the methodology, kind of translating your old school controller to a standard diamond setup, but no, Nintendo, stop it. Nintendo, stop it right now. I'm so sick of y'all doing the damn. Just flip Y and X. Y should be at the top. X should be left. What are you doing, Nintendo? Quit it. You stop it right now. Just stop it. Nobody needs it. You're just making people who play multiple platforms, which I guess that's your damn, what I don't even know what to even put it and compile it as, but you just want to just force this one console mindset, which is just messed up. Nintendo, just stop it. I'm tired. If I ever play a QTE on a Nintendo game, I'm like, oh fuck, well, I guess this is gonna be a rough. This is gonna be a rough time, cause boy, that muscle memory gonna get me every time. But I digress. So yeah, Bayonetta 3. There is a character that's introduced named Viola. Not a fan at all. I've talked about. I've had a little bit of a whatchamacallit. Had a little rant on Twitter a little bit about it, but do not like Viola at all. She just, it's just like she just was shoved in. She just, her aesthetics just don't really look that great, and then her personality is just, she's just, I don't know. It's like they don't really know what to do with her. I guess the sentiment was that they are trying to combine two characters into one, but then that just makes it weirder. Cause then she's trying to be like Bayonetta in some ways. Well, not really. She's like the opposite of Bayonetta, but some qualities in a way, but still not. And it just like she doesn't find her own identity, I guess. It feels like she's very lost, which I guess considering a story that kind of checks out, but not feeling her at all. It's very much similar to a Raiden situation in a lot more ways, uncomfortably than I would want to admit there. But yeah. So you know what? I mean, then I know people have heard about the controversy with Bayonetta 3 in terms of the ending specifically. So we gonna get right into it actually. Spoilers for Bayonetta 3 if you are a fan / care. Spoilers. I'll be in like it's a niche, but either way. So the ending, I mean the story as a whole is just weird, but let's get into like, we'll focus on the ending at this point. So like the ending is like weird because like, okay, so pretty much it shows the events that happened at the start of the game, which was basically, it implies that like Bayonetta is destined to die like in a specific timeline, and then Viola goes into another universe to save the other Bayonetta or let her know, I guess. And then when you come to the end, you see everything play itself again, and it looks like, and I'm thinking, oh damn, they about to kill Bayonetta. And then it seems like that, and then she's saved by Bayonetta 1, the literal Bayonetta from Bayonetta 1, hairstyle and all. And then Bayonetta 2 from Bayonetta 2. And then yeah, that definitely got some No Way Home vibes for sure, if you know what that means. But it's like but it didn't give me the good like, yeah, all right, like, value. I was more confused than surprised. So I'm like, how does that work? Considering that, like, throughout the story she visits all these Bayonettas from other universes, I guess, colliding with her universe, but then they're presumably killed. But then when they fight this boss, I forgot his name, he's just some plot device, it feels like. You fight him and then you hurt him to a point where he lets their souls out, and then their souls come out, but the souls can attack him physically. And then the souls can attack him physically, but the souls can like attack him physically, but then they disappear. And then Jean got killed by the said guy, but she could attack him physically, but then she disappears too. So, but then that's how the other Bayonettas presumably are in the universe now, because they were brought back because of that. So that's not really explained. So it's pretty confusing as to what is the implication there, that I don't know. And then they merged with Bayonetta 3 to make Super Bayonetta, which is so it's her, and then there's the theory that like Bayonetta Bayonetta 3 is actually the little girl Cereza from the first Bayonetta, which actually makes sense considering all of the hairstyle and stuff, whatever. But that even makes it more confusing because it's like, all right, so then what timeline is she from? If that's the case, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And then like towards after you defeat the guy, whatever, then Bayonetta's like locket, I guess, that controls the demons is broken, so now the demons are unhinged. So then the demon attacks Bayonetta, swipes her soul out, and then now Bayonetta is about to get grabbed by the hell. And then Luca comes like, oh, Bayonetta, I'm just happy we saved our daughter Viola, and she's saved. So now everything is good. But then he was alive and then went with Bayonetta to hell. So why? So they're both getting dragged to hell. So are they dead, or are they just in hell? But wouldn't she reconvene with Viola towards the end? Then you got Viola that is alive, and then she had after the credits she fought with Demon Bayonetta, or its soul corrupted Bayonetta, and then that was this was the ultimate test, and then she shot Bayonetta, so she's dead, I guess. So just and then she was like, I give you my name, my family name. And then towards the end, she goes back in, I guess, another universe and talk with Rodan. And then Rodan is like, hey Bayonetta, what I guess he didn't say Bayonetta, but he's like, hey, what jobs you, she was like, what jobs you got for me, Rodan? And he like, hey, well, we got, ghost busting. And she's like, no, I'll take that one. And then she's like, all right, Viola. Oh, I forgot your family name, Bayonetta. Or I think she said, like, just call me Bayonetta. Where she got the scarf, and then she got the glasses, but she looks, the aesthetic is still horrible. And so it's heavily implied that she's going to be the next protagonist with the fourth one. And then they say towards the end, and like, it's to be continued, but I don't want it to be continued with Viola. I want Bayonetta. It's just, yeah. So I don't know. I just been holding that. I clearly been holding that in. This was from yesterday, but I was clearly holding that in. Yeah, man. I understand the controversy with the ending now. That's all I have to say. I think the controversy, it's a lot of very bad writing, it feels like, but also just the implication that this new random character that we just shoved into this game is gonna be the new protagonist, which I'm not a fan of. And then, mind you, the one other gripe I have with this game is that you of course you play with Bayonetta the most, but then Viola is dispersed in between the game at certain points. But then her mechanic, that she's capable of witch time, but her mechanic, in order to get into witch time, she has to parry or block last minute, and the timing, how tight of the timing you do it, the longer time you get. But for hers, to block is R1, and then for Bayonetta she dodges for witch time, which is R2. So as you can imagine, when switching from Bayonetta to Viola, you are gonna have a huge ass difficult time with muscle memory and trying to parry versus dodge attacks, and thinking that you could dodge like Bayonetta as Viola, but you can't. You have to parry and block like as Viola in order to do the witch time stuff. So that was just problematic in of itself, because it's like, all right, so are you just telling me that's how you're gonna play that's how you're gonna play Viola in the next game. So get used to it or something. Even though I looked it up, there's apparently a control scheme within the game that you can change for Viola to make it similar to Bayonetta. So like, which makes a lot of sense is to have Viola's control scheme be R2 to block and R1 to dodge. So at least like based on at least to for the sake of your damn muscle memory, to at least when you're about to get hit R2, at least it'll apply somewhat of the same effect there. So that is definitely a pro tip if you have not played Bayonetta 3 yet, to do that, because I think that'll help a lot. I haven't, I obviously, after I played the entirety of the game, I didn't do that, but in retrospect, I wish I did do that. And I told you, I think that's one thing I think you could partially blame on the game itself, because I know a lot of games that will remind you to, hey, you got a lot of skills, right? You got a lot of skill points right now. Why don't you spend them? And that Bayonetta 3 did not tell me that at all. And it's funny too, like when I was playing throughout the game, I was like, man, I wonder what these red points are. I have a lot of them, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with them. So I don't know. And I just, like for like 3 seconds, I just thought about that and then just like, all right, I don't know. I guess it'll mean later, but then I totally forgot there was like a mini tutorial telling you like, hey, you can buy skills and stuff. So I was literally playing Bayonetta 3 on like semi hard mode, not basically no upgrade challenge, unintentionally. And then also the skill tree is where you actually you have to apply the hearts you get from like doing the challenges, and like the hearts and the moon pearls actually give you increase your max magic and max health. And again, playing on unintentional hard mode, because you have to go to the skills tree and then use the things there, which I think that specifically is bad. I guess it gives the option for hardcore players to play preferably the way they want without accidentally, I guess, getting health upgrades. But other than that, I don't know. That just seems like a weird choice to do that. But then again, it's like, it's in the skill tree, which I chose not to even look at, but whatever. I did like shouts out to the new mechanic. I'll just call it the kaiju mechanic. I forgot what they call it specifically, but basically it's a mechanic where you can summon a demon like while you're fighting to do attacks essentially. And then you can also later in the game there's a mechanic that lets you like add the monster, have the monster attack at the end of a combo string, which leads to some pretty interesting stuff. But definitely was impressed with the plethora of like weapons and the variety of weapons, as well as the variety of kaijus. It was pretty dope. Definitely got some Terminator vibes, Terminator 2 vibes. It's definitely like a love letter to Terminator and kaiju movies. It felt like a very much so in a lot of ways. There's a lot of those moments, but overall, I did have a good time. Just the taste was very much soured with that ending. It's just like, so we'll see. Maybe there might be DLC that might clear some stuff up, or hopefully, if and when there's a sequel, that maybe they'll spruce Viola up more to be likable, or maybe hopefully have Bayonetta in there more, or at least to the same level. But at least as far as this title is concerned, not a Viola stand. No, not at the least. Not at the least. No, thank you. Viola, no Viola. So that was Bayonetta 3. I think I feel like I covered a lot of ground there, but shouts out to also the Gene mini game. I think I might have touched on either way. Gotta give its praise. Definitely a callback to elevator action. If you if you know what that game is, much love to you, because I used to love that game growing up. So I was like, oh shit, elevator action, they got it in this game. I was like, yes. So I'm curious if maybe he was involved at that game a while back at some point or some capacity. But I was like, oh shit, they put elevator action literally into this game. So yeah, I dug her like introductory cutscenes where it looked like a 007 type vibe before every like stage with her, which was pretty dope. So I think it was a cool way to not, I don't know, add another character that's not too different from Bayonetta, and also, I don't know, didn't really add anything, but also gave her own twist, which I thought was pretty dope. So shouts out to Jean. Shouts out to sibling rivalries that turn out to be mended, and then y'all best buddies, and then something happens, and then now you sad again. Shouts out. Sibling rivalries. I don't like you. We are siblings, and we don't like each other, so we must fight out our anger. And then you beat some sense into me and like, oh, I'm sorry, brother or sister. You know what? I'm sorry. Let's do this together. And then they team up and do some cool shit. It's great. It's great. That's my favorite trope. You ain't never gonna see me. You ain't never gonna see me complain about that trope ever. It's funny when I think about it now, but I digress. Next topic. God of War Ragnarok. I gotta do it. Boy. God of War Ragnarok. So I played a little bit last night, and boy, no spoilers at all. Man, I have to say, I think I played maybe 2-3 hours, I think. Very great. Very impressed. I enjoyed what I played. Yes. Yes, I did. It was a great time. I'm so ready to go on this journey with Kratos and Atreus. I'm so ready. I was shown through playing last night. It is some fun stuff that happened. Again, not spoiling. It was I definitely, like I've said on Twitter, it's probably one of the best moments I've had in gaming. Definitely happened within that session. Again, not spoiling it, but man, I did like a little like, oh my god, what is this? And mind you, I'm a very much of a solitary person outside of this podcast or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, I'm like literally like I said that shit out loud in my room. I'm like, oh my god, what? Oh shit, oh shit. Pretty dope, pretty freaking dope. Boy, man, Sony Santa Monica, man, they doing their work, boy. Let me tell you. Also love the performance, the plethora of options you got on at least for PS5 if you have a supported TV, playing God of War at like what I guess maybe post 100, around 100-ish FPS. It almost feels like 120. It might be, I don't know, but it felt smooth and buttery as hell. Let me tell you that. Boy, again, Sony Santa Monica doing their job. You hear me? But I digress. Oh man, it's so much I want to talk about, but I can't in terms of what happened. But I have to say I'm very much enjoying the game so far. I love how they are introducing the mechanics of the game. I think they're doing a good job of teaching you tutorial wise in terms of certain aspects of the game as well. That is pretty dope, pretty damn dope, I have to say. And I don't know, it's shaping up to be like, at least what's been being implemented so far, it's shaping up to be, I know it's hard to say, at least from the very minimal amount of time I played, but it's looking, it's very much, I know, big surprise, looking very GOAT-ish. The GOAT-ish is showing for God of War. So big surprise, I know. You know, one of the most highly anticipated games of the year. Actually GOAT-y? Like, actually GOAT-y? Potentially GOAT-ish? Yeah. I am in that boat now. Whew. Yeah, man, I'm digging the pacing. Just, it's a lot. It's a lot. Oh, and then one thing just dawned in my head, actually, that is a spoiler, but which I'm not gonna reveal, but it's it just clicked. I'm like, oh, of course, why not? I'll just leave it at that. So may may explain that at a later date, but yeah, man, yes, God of War. This is, oh boy, this is gonna be a good ride. This is gonna be fun. So there was that. And that's pretty much all I've been playing since last we spoke. But let's get into what I've been watching, which actually has been hey, well, I don't think it's a stigma. I just think it's just, I don't think you generally think of men watching reality TV, but sure enough, I've slowly slipped back into that nasty what do you call it, trash television / reality TV with Love Is Blind. I think I've talked about some past seasons I've watched, but for those that may not know, Love Is Blind is basically, it's on Netflix. It's basically a reality show about casting. Well, at least there's basically a set of men and women that date each other in what the show calls pods, where basically they talk to each other basically with a wall in front of them, and they basically just get to know each other from, you know, a personal mind level. And then if they talk to them, you know, they really dig each other enough and vibe with each other enough, then it actually gets to a point where they propose to the other person. And then once after they propose, then only then they can actually see the person in person, where they then will propose to them in person. And then they'll do like a very truncated, like honeymoon, like dating phase, and then actually live together for a little bit, and then actually go to the altar and get married, all in the span of like a month, I believe. So as you could think, that leads to a lot of interesting, you know, drama and television. And then you also have scenarios where, you know, some people are dating, or some people were at least made it to somebody's top 2, and then they chose one person or the other. And then you have that dynamic. And then another factor is that throughout the process, there's I think during the dating phase, when they go to like a resort vacation, they actually see a lot of the other cast members that made it with other couples that, you know, presumably they rejected one or another, and then they see them in person, which also leads to some spiciness in terms of like, you know, oh, you know what, I really would have went for you if you know, I saw you in person, you know, because you're my type. You're actually the type I go for. And then that leads to some spiciness where, you know, like, oh, I thought I saw, you know, if I would have went with such and such, but, you know, we just didn't click. But I like you though. And then that's like, oh, yikes. And, you know, so you get a lot of that spicy action. So I did with season 3. Recently just finished the reunion. So it has they smartily enough, annoying and smartly like split out the season disbursement, if you will, in a lot of ways, where like one chapter or aspect of the couple episodes is them in the pods and dating. After that, then there's the dating and going to a resort to that together exclusively. I think then after that they cut it off and then like show the rest of the episodes at a later date where they are living together and meeting the parents. And then I think then they get up to the point where they're about to get engaged. And then they give you a little taste of like, a couple that are trying to get married or, basically get married. And if they say no or say yes, and then they cut it off right there. And then, then they dispersed episodes later where, they show the rest of the couples getting married if they say no or yes. And then, they put the reunion special after that. And then there probably is going to be after the altar, which is like a post show where they see if like a lot of the couples are still together after that, and if people found other people, and if all that is still a thing and all that drama. So it's very, very much low quality trash TV, I have to admit, but at least for this, there is a little bit of class to it where the sentiment does mean well in terms of like, is love blind? And, the implication if you can actually love somebody for their, personality, soul, being rather than, their physical appearance. But I found it very fascinating, very interesting. I'm curious to see what happens. It's slowly getting back, slowly getting back into me, but nonetheless, that's pretty much it. Just trashy television lately. But like I said, gonna see Black Panther 2 later tonight. So whenever we reconvene again, that's when you'll get my deets about that outside of Twitter, I guess. But I do kind of like with these episodes being further apart, so I'm not giving you necessarily a charged opinion that hasn't had some thought into it, I guess, or time to marinate, because I feel like that's the thing too, where it's a lot of stuff that I've maybe seen or played that I felt, what's the word? Seen or played that I felt I went off pure emotion and not actually had time to think and reflect on how I felt about it. And in some cases that slightly changed. But so I do kind of like the cadence now that at least more often than not between these episodes I've had time to kind of think and process what I've watched or seen, and actually I guess give more of a realistic view on how I feel about something, rather than like, I don't know, just a heightened, charged, emotional type feel, I guess. I don't know. I think I believe that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But nonetheless, yeah. So yeah, I think with that being said, I think that might do it for episode, what was it? 166 of Swish's Sights. If you did like the show, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcasting platforms. You can also catch me on the Sink and Sip that Sink and Sip that is Twitch at A-Switch, also on YouTube at A-Switch, and Twitch at A-Switch as well. But yeah, y'all, until next time, have a happy Thanksgiving. Get your grub on. Feel free to fuck and get your damn game on. Aw, yeah.
Nobody's safe.